I'm an egg donor.
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 I heard about Egg Donor Solutions through one of my friends.
I actually had a friend that donated her eggs.
The first time I learned about egg donations was when I was in the Army.
And so I started asking questions about it, and it sounded like something that I might be interested in doing.
So I got on Google and checked it out.
Egg Donor Solutions just seemed to be like the best fit for me. Had a good time talking with everyone there. Everyone's really friendly and professional, so I just decided that that was the right place for me.
From the first steps to the end, I feel like everyone was great. Very friendly. They make you feel very comfortable because you're doing some things that aren't very comfortable.
It was going to be a safe process, that the, technology and the doctors and the care was there for me to know that what I was doing would allow me to have children of my own in the future still, and different concerns like that.
The biggest part of this whole process that's most important to me was communication. I feel like there was great communication on all ends.
They were so sweet. They were like the nicest people ever.
The staff on both ends, they're phenomenal.
I loved my care coordinator. She was great about answering questions, getting back to me, and talked to me on the phone a couple of times.
Everybody was really warm and personable. They all knew me by first name.
Emails, making sure that I was okay, how I was recovering, that kind of thing. And so it really made me feel like, everyone cared, about the entire process and about everyone involved in it.
They were very thorough, so that made me feel more comfortable with the process.
And it was always kept very professional. They've always answered my questions. They kept everything organized. They never let me worry about myself. And honestly, I know that their whole process is to help parents out, but as a donor, they really, really were attentive to me and my needs, and I felt like they put me first.
I feel like the egg donation process actually worked very well for my schedule at the time. I was actually in college studying, and I had a part-time job. So I didn't have any super early classes, and a lot of the appointments are really early in the morning. So it fit in very well, and financially with student loans and everything, that it helped a lot too. So I would definitely suggest it for any college students out there considering this.
We were able to get it scheduled where I could come in before work or during my lunch break.
So I would go to the clinic and go straight to work. And so it was never a big deal.
The scariest part was probably doing all the shots that they have you do when you're there.
That was really, really hard for me. I have a fear of needles. I guess who doesn't, but
I don't have a crazy fear of needles, but the thought of injecting myself terrified me. The first time I had to do it, my palms were sweating.
The first time I was like, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it.
They say to inject yourself at a certain time, so I'm like, it's now or never.
And then I just did it, and it was fine after that.
And it actually, sometimes I couldn't even feel it doing it, so it was not that bad.
And then once you get used to it, which is an odd thing to think about, that you would get used to doing that, but then it was completely fine.
And in the big picture of things, it really wasn't that difficult. It takes a strong person to be able to donate their eggs. That person has to have a big heart, to put themselves through that.
It's a little bit of pain for a great cause. The cause is worth it. I personally always believe if you're healthy and you can give, to give. I don't know, kind of like the golden rule, like treat others the way you want to be treated. So I've been a blood donor for a while. I'm signed up to be a bone marrow donor because I'm very fortunate to have very great health and family history of health. So I look at it as if somebody were to tell me I couldn't have kids and how awful that would be and traumatizing, and I would really hope that there was a possibility for me to be able to have a kid. So I feel for those, even though I've never been through it, I feel for those who have a hard time having kids. So I really wanted to help them out.
I think it's an amazing thing to be a part of, that today we have the technology to be able to help somebody else create their family.
I want someone to be happy with a child.
You're really doing this for a family.
It feels, since I've done it 5 times, I know that there's 5 people out there that I helped. Even if it didn't result in a pregnancy, at least I could have helped change their lives a little bit. So
I was actually fortunate enough to receive a letter from the intended parents that I donated to. That was an emotional moment for me. I'd always wanted to know kind of the people that I was donating to, and I knew that would probably never happen. And so it brought some tears. And tears of joy.
I didn't know their names or their faces or anything. I just got a letter at the beginning. It made me feel like, okay, these are real people on the other end and interesting or good people.
So I got a letter from one of the parents, and then I met one of the parents, and those were the two greatest things that really solidify why you're doing what you're doing, because it makes it more real. When you're talking, like for the father, that I saw the tears in his eyes and how grateful, and it was pure, genuine happiness, and it was a connection. It was very nice.
I actually have a daughter of my own, and she's my world. So I can't imagine living a life where I didn't have her. So I can't imagine being in the positions of the intended parents, not being able to have that. It breaks my heart. And so I wanted to do something that, gives them an extra chance to have their own child.
It's a really good feeling.
It was just a great decision.
Certainly a worthwhile experience.
I was just happy to make someone else happy.